Good afternoon, everyone. I'm so excited to bring you the next interview in my Be Good to You video series with my new friend, Amanda Workman. Had the pleasure of getting to know her at an event recently, and I just absolutely connected to her story. She is a single mom. She is a former yoga instructor, former martial arts instructor, is currently helping boxing with clients, is a health coach, is just an all around awesome person. And so I just wanted to share her story with you all. So, Amanda, thank you so much for uh, agreeing to do this interview today.
No, thank you so much. I love doing these and I'm so excited about what you're doing. So thank you for inviting me to this.
Awesome. Well, let's get this going. So, share with me your health story and your journey and how you weren't being good to you.
Absolutely. So about 6 years ago, um, well, I guess let me back up. So I've been a single mom for 5 years now. And 6 years ago, I was teaching yoga, had my own yoga studio, and I kind of did that as I own my own yoga studio almost as like as an entrepreneur, you do silly things sometimes, right? And so it was this leap of faith as I saw my marriage collapsing. So my baby was like not even a year before I opened this studio, um, and because I just wanted to serve the community, right? And so, but I felt so out of integrity because I was carrying 60, 70 extra pounds, and and I was teaching. And I was in my own way. I was just in my own body was holding me back from my greatest potential. And so it wasn't even so much what I was doing to my body physically, but when I wasn't, but I would get in this pattern because I was in front of so many people as a yoga instructor, and in the public, I guess I would, if I was going to secretly eat, I would shamefully, like I'd get fast food and I'd eat it in the car because I didn't want anybody to know, so I would emotionally eat closet wise, but I didn't have that integrity in the community. And that's just not good for anybody, right? Because that eats at our soul when we don't have that integrity. And so finally you know, met Dr. Anderson, obviously. And then I decided to start taking better care of myself. And I was super stubborn because I wanted to do it by myself, right? So even though there was this amazing plan laid out for me that's like bulletproof, could do it, in a short amount of time, I kept thinking that I didn't want that structure because somehow I could do everything by myself. And that was probably if you want to talk about things that I wasn't doing good to myself, was isolation, right? Throughout the years, I've gone in and out of isolation and not in community. So I hopped on plan and I lost 68 pounds and I've kept it off for 6 years. And that was really cool. And of course you want to pay that gift forward. So, and since I'm a massage therapist and I was teaching fitness, I wanted this trifecta. So that's where coaching came in, is because I knew that I could walk alongside other people off the table and off the mat. And so I began coaching, and I wanted my household and my little girl to learn how to eat healthy. So all she knows is how to eat lean and green, whether it's fuelings or meals or whatever, we eat lean and green. We eat lean and green style. So, and we know what's junk food, and now she calls me on it, right? So Be Good to You is like, teach your kids how to call you on not eating junk food. So that was fun. But so in this journey, I think the ways that I wasn't good to myself was the way that I talked to myself. I struggled off and on through my whole life with dysthymia. And in my early 20s, I hit adrenal fatigue, which I don't know if you know much about that, but basically I was in this low level grade stress for so long that I just my whole body shut down. And the only way that I knew to keep going, like my last name's Workman, so I always joke about it, that it's like, I just power through, I work through. And so I just kind of kept going in that. But so I guess that's the biggest thing, was the thing that I told myself was that I should be able to work through it. I should be able to do it on my own. And my life is best served serving other people before myself. And I think that was where I really fell out of everything, was it felt so selfish to be good to myself, which I know that you've been talking about. And And so the first step of really taking care of myself was getting in integrity so my body could meet what my mouth was saying to other people about how they should take care of themselves. And once that happened, the way that I saw myself, my success, the way I showed up in the world, reversed. It just began to improve bit by bit when I got stronger. And, you know, I started to be able to do things athletically. I've never considered myself an athlete, but I started to be able to do things that I never, ever expected. And then one day it just kind of clicked, like, oh, I'm an athlete. And then other people would start complimenting like how ambitious I was or how amazing I was. And slowly over time, I think as I stayed consistent on keeping the weight off, but also breaking those secret habits and coming in integrity, I began to believe them. And so I think it still takes time, to believe the things that other people see in you and to believe those gifts. But so 68 pounds, reversed adrenal fatigue, reversed for the most part, managed dysthymia and mood change. And I've been raising my kiddo for 5 years now and paying it forward to other people. So I think I've helped about 290 people at this point. So with their health. And so it's been a blessing. And each time I think that I recognize that if I'm not leading with my own health first, my clients can't do it either. And so it's huge to be good to myself and to teach them that as well.
Wow, that is just amazing. I mean, you literally just, your body was just letting you know that, hey, this isn't working, right? So with that being said, so you're 6 years out and you're amazing, you're keeping this all off and you're doing these things, and you're right about the accountability piece. That is huge. So what habits and mental well-being practices do you do now on a daily basis to be good to yourself?
Yeah. So I was kind of a squirrel for a long time, right? Or not a squirrel, but like the Doug squirrel, like squirrel. And so because I was doing so many things, I really had to focus. So on the daily, so what I needed to do was, I think somebody told me this year, like slow down to speed up. Right. And so I started meditating daily. I use just an app called Calm, and it's about 10 minutes daily, just so that I could stop thinking and focus on my breath. I really hydrate. I hydrate because if it's amazing. And then I eat every 2 to 3 hours. Like hangry is a real thing. You feel that in your soul. And so I have maintained these habits of good sleep, good hydration, good eating habits, and movement. I'm not myself if I'm not moving. I'm not myself. We live in Colorado, so dry. And then I really have found over the 6 years that it's so important to listen to your body. So just recently, even though I ran a half marathon, we talked about that, my first half marathon. And then I just found that I needed some rest. And I think that rest, even in your exercise routine, changing up, as long as do never underestimate walking, right? Just getting outside every single day. So I think that the daily things are movement every day, whether it's just a walk or whether I'm boxing and punching something, because that's awesome. Or if I'm lifting weights, that's huge. But, and then, so those 4 elements of the habits that we teach are key. I think one of the most important things that I had to learn to be good to myself was, what is it that I do for fun? Because for so long I was doing things for other people. As I was saying, like I would show up and I'd serve for other people. I was teaching for other people. And when those programs closed, I forgot what my fun was. And so this year has really been looking at what is my fun and being okay with that, and being okay with being quirky, being okay with, coloring my hair and, or whatever it is, loving crazy music, wearing sparkly shoes, so like own your crazy. I think that's the one thing that I can say to be good to yourself is like, own your crazy and like, love it. And like, love your people hard, and love yourself hard, in all the ways that you can. 'Cause those physical habits are there, but they're the foundation. Everything beyond that is just like your personality in whole and becoming fully alive. And so I think that what the world needs, Henry Thurman said this, is what the world needs is people who become fully alive. So every single day, I try to do something that helps me feel more fully alive. So whether that's meditation or prayer, that's foundational. That's essential, but like have more fun because life is very, very serious.
I love that. Love you're crazy. I love it. I'm going to totally use that.
Hashtag love you're crazy.
Love you're crazy. I love it. So with that being said, I mean, you kind of segued into my next question. So what advice would you give to others to encourage them to be good to themselves?
I think really understanding what's most important to yourself, like whether or not people decide to engage in a full program or not, I believe that it's worth having the conversation, because nobody ever asks you what you want unless it's at a restaurant. And even then you're kind of choosing from a menu of things, right? So you're pre-decided. But I think that when somebody can really, really hone in on what matters most to them, taking care of yourself will fall in line, because then it's just a comparison question of, is this loving myself today? Is this something that's moving the love for myself forward or back? But if I was living myself for my kiddo, if I was living myself for my clients, living my life for my clients, then I'm not living my life. And that can be really frustrating when things don't happen in a way that we expect. We tend to go into blame. But if I know what I want and I'm living my life for me, then the world is a whole lot less frustrating, because I make those choices based on myself. So my advice would just be to really explore what matters most to you, and to own your crazy, right? Like to love yourself so much that you show other people how to do it, and that you be an example to others in that way, and then give it away, right? We can only fill our cup so much before it overflows. And that gratitude practice that we have, that if you start that opens up the door to miracles. And so love yourself, fill up, and then give it away. It would be my best advice, but fill yourself first,
Absolutely. I love that. I love that. That's awesome. I love everything that you shared. I think that your words of encouragement are amazing. I love your story and where you came from and where you are now and what an example you are for your daughter, and just everything that you're doing. I mean, you encompass the essence of being good to you, and recognizing that it's okay. It's okay to be good to us and to give it away, because you're right. There's just only so much that you can hold on to, and that you have to give it away, right?
Totally. And one more thing, if I can add, is that because I saw other people, so I've been coaching for 6 years now, and it's so easy to get into this comparative reality, right? Even if you go into a fitness program with a friend and maybe they're kicking butt and you're not, or you have a running partner that's ahead of you or something like that, it's so easy to compare to other people. And I think that's why it's so important to figure out what matters to you and what's your fun, and own it. Because I think the worst thing that I did was I thought that I could do this comparative reality thing. And so I tried to start like carbon copying other people as I was trying to succeed. And the hardest thing to be good to myself and to figure out what I wanted was when I was trying to copy other people. But I found that as I became my own self and I stopped comparing, then there was this joy that bubbled up. And so that's probably one other thing, as far as like owning your crazy. You have to the comparative reality has to stop, and you got to find your own journey in that.
I love it. That's perfect. And that's a great way to end this. So thank you, Amanda, for your time today. Beautiful words said. And I just really appreciate you taking the time out of your busy day to do this today.
Thank you so much. It was so fun.
All right. Take care, Amanda. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.